Hey, everybody. Praxis podcast. I'm here with one of my mentors and good friend, Lavell Marshall, also known as American Hangai these days. And I'm super excited to do this episode. He's somebody who, when I first had this idea, I was like, oh man, I definitely got to interview Lavell. So now that the season of intense competing is kind of winding down, I'm happy, really excited to do this. Thanks for coming on and doing this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to be here, brother.
Very cool. Maybe you could just kind of like as briefly as possible, kind of give a little overview of your training in martial arts and what you do, and kind of give people an idea for maybe for some people who don't know you that well, just kind of like what you've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do, well, my primary background was Chinese wrestling, 中国式摔跤. Although I've been doing martial arts since I was a little kid, I started with that in the US, with Chinese wrestling. And that led me down the line to Inner Mongolian wrestling and Mongolian wrestling. So I moved to China, to Inner Mongolia, specifically started doing Inner Mongolian wrestling. And then this last year, I've been going between Inner Mongolia and Mongolia, the country. Sorry, there's an airplane flying. Hold on a second.
I actually can't hear it. You're probably okay.
Okay, but yeah, so yeah, and now I'm here. I've been here 6.5 years. It's totally a different thing. It's a different game. It's a different world. The lifestyle, everything just shapes it, and you see why they wrestle the way they do. Once you here and you live here,
Yeah, it's crazy. Like with these arts, like I haven't had the chance to make it out to Inner Mongolia or Mongolia yet, but just when I was in China last October, the level of shuaijiao there is so high. It's so high compared to what we do over here. Like some people online were kind of like talking badly about shuaijiao. They're like, I would never want to see what shuaijiao people do. I'm interested in judo. Like judo, the judo Olympians are next level. I'm like, look, like if all I ever experienced was American shuaijiao, I might have a similar opinion. But seeing what they do in China, I'm like, these guys are. This is a whole nother ball game. So it makes a lot of sense to me why you would go over there to chase it, because some of what I experienced there is just wild. Like the skills are on another level, and I think over there a lot of the Inner Mongolians and the Mongolians are champions in shuaijiao. They're beating the Chinese a lot of times, so they're even another another step above that. So it makes
it's
sense.
exactly. Well, actually, they say when I first got to Inner Mongolia, because I was telling them my accolades, because that's the first thing they always ask, like, "Oh, you're a wrestler. Like, what did you win?" So I'm explaining to my previous teacher, and he's like, "Oh, well, world championship is the easiest to win. Out of between world championship, national championship of China, and Inner Mongolian championship, because there's three different
Yeah.
right? Uh, because I was kind of confused, and I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Well, in China is all the best guys,
Yes.
right? But in Inner Mongolia, you have like all the best of the best, right?
Yep.
So if you go to Inner Mongolia Championship, you're gonna go against every person you will face will be a previous champion or a runner up or something at some point,
Yep.
right? At
Yeah.
national, you're gonna have really good and then some pretty decent guys,
Yeah.
right? And then at World Championships, you're gonna have guys that are like look at internationally, right? You're only gonna
Yep.
have a couple, so you
Yeah.
actually have a higher chance of placing in World Championship.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's actually surprisingly how it is for quite a few sports that are in similar positions. Like my judo coach has said the same thing about judo. He's like, Olympics is easier than judo worlds. And then because only a certain number of people can go to the Olympics from each country. So the top players actually get left out because there's too many people from Japan and France for them to
Yeah,
all fit in the Olympics. But then to
yeah.
win like a French national or a Japanese all Japan competition is way harder than winning the Olympics.
Not to mention, when you go to international competitions, half the time the best players can't go because of visa issues. Look at the
Yes.
World Wrestling that just
Yeah.
like the top Russian guys, like a few of them couldn't even show up, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, that's a big problem. But here, like I said, and what you saw a glimpse of it. But as you go deeper into it and go to Inner Mongolia and also Mongolia, you're gonna be like, whoa, this is just a different. It doesn't even feel the same,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, that's what I saw, that's what I felt, and that's why I'm here. That's I
Yeah.
got,
Makes sense.
you know.
So when you first got, can you just tell us like a little bit about like how you first got started with Shuai Jiao and what that training was like and everything?
Yeah, sure. So I think I was like 19. I was doing a lot of kung fu at the time, right? And like some kind of sanda, like Chinese kickboxing and stuff like
Yep.
that. Anyway, so I met my teacher, Sifu Omar Harvin in South Carolina, at a competition. He was like, "Hey, young man, you want to learn how to really fight with that? Like come to my school, you know?" And I was like, "Who is this? What is?" I've never heard of Chinese wrestling, right? And I was in Chinese martial arts since I was a child. So I think a week later or something, it ended up his school was in my town, Columbia, South Carolina, where I live. So I went there and I just saw a bunch of big black dudes just throwing each other with jackets on, and I was like, what
Yeah.
the heck? Right? Um, but I started doing that with kung fu, like mixing it, and after a year or so, I just got really into Saijiao. I think part of it also was the training.
Yeah.
Saijiao, it just is, and specifically training under Sifu Omar, right?
Yeah.
His training built a certain kind of spirit. It was very tough. It was very rough, right? Um, it's a bit different, or it's a lot different than Inner Mongolia because one, the skill level of the group isn't as high,
Yeah.
right? But you have very tough and strong guys.
Yeah.
So you have mentally tough and physically tough, but when the skill is not there, it does make a big difference, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
My team was really good, but his focus was combat. So we used more striking as well, and it was very like hard.
Yeah.
Um, and it's super good to develop the physical, right?
Yes.
And foundation. Um, Now you fast forward that because I feel like at that time we did something called bullfighting, which is where you grab each other
Yeah.
and you just don't let go and you just try to take each other down like
Yep.
with all your power. And now once I got to China, to Inner Mongolia, they never heard of that. It's just not a thing that they do. They do something similar, but it's the idea is different. So
Yeah, like they're almost trying to avoid that kind of a deadlock because they want to create that like that in and out thing where you're like a yo-yo.
yes, because to them that's what you do when you're kids.
Yeah.
So like the kids here, they do that kind of training. Like they'll hold each other and they just gotta pull. It's like
Yeah.
it's for like foundation as a child because you don't have the same abilities,
Yes.
right? And coordination. Um, if you watch kids wrestle, I mean, there's some studs, but they're kind of clumsy, right?
Yep.
Like most kids are kind of clumsy a little bit until you reach it like teenage. So that's kind of what the kids here do. But in America, we start later, right? We don't start as kids. So
Yeah.
I the training that a lot of Americans do, it's not that it's wrong or bad at all. It's just that we started later what children do here. So
Yeah.
therefore, developed we don't actually develop into the level that they have here.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I felt like there was a lot of things that made me very tough. But as I got here, certain aspects, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, certain aspects of it actually made me too stiff,
Yes.
right? And I
Yeah.
think it's a Western thing.
Yeah.
Like the West, we a lot of our movement is very like rigid.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And our lifestyles like that. We sit a lot. Uh, Even our exercises, everything is very,
Yeah.
linear.
It's
Um,
like a mentality almost, like it's in our mind.
exactly. Well, a lot of wrestling and movement in general comes from how we view the world.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and that's what I noticed when I traveled to like China, because even within the Mongolians and Inner Mongolia and the Han Chinese, even they think different, and so they move different. Like
Yeah.
look at the Chinese wrestlers that are Han Chinese versus the Muslim Chinese, the Hui, versus the Mongolians. There are three different almost styles of Chinese wrestling.
Yeah, totally.
And so when I got to Inner Mongolia, I was like, oh, they don't go this real hard, rough, everything is rigid. Everything was flow and about being soft and putting the power at the right moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
totally. No, that makes sense.
but the training in general here, they don't do as much. They don't do as much. I would say, like the strength training isn't the focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
totally. Well, I think that like
mm,
there's kind of like an interesting thing with Shuaijiao and Kung Fu in the West, in that like Shuaijiao in the United States is always like it's attached to Kung Fu. It's kind of the way that like Sanda is. So like they kind of like there's this huge emphasis on the solo drills, the belt cracking, all the different implements, which kind of makes it more like other styles of kung fu than
yeah,
necessarily like a combat sport, which is funny because you go to China and the way they train it is like a combat sport. Like they're like, yeah, all that stuff's like extra. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's like, like you're on vacation and you don't have a partner, so we're going to do some, some solo drills. But it's not looked at like the way that Westerners look at kung fu. And I think when it because it got attached to kung fu in that way, that people train it that way, and that it kind of has lowered some of the effectiveness.
Oh, in the West, most people that do Swai are kung fu people,
Yeah.
because most of the guys that brought it to the West were like kung fu-y kind of people, right? They
Yep.
wanted to do Chinese arts and stuff like that. But they don't realize that it's a sport. It's a wrestling sport in China, and most people that do Swai don't do any kung fu. They have no affiliation with kung fu.
Yeah. And I think that's also right a difference between Baoding and Beijing style Chinese wrestling, in that the Baoding often comes with this combat association. I think that comes from it being used in the police institute, whereas the Beijing style kind of keeps that sport element more.
Well, that's the Baoding via Taiwan.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We have to understand that like the guy that got Baoding popular, you know, our grandmaster Chung Dong Chung, right? Like he went to Taiwan and he was already at Nanjing, he was training in different kung fu styles. They were really trying to promote Chinese martial arts at that time.
Yeah,
After the Manchurian Qing dynasty, China was really pushing a lot of Chinese martial arts,
yeah,
right? So they kind of like blended things together, because the guys that were learning Saijiao in Beijing, in the Shampooying, a lot of those Chinese guys didn't actually make it into this Shampooying. They trained, they learned some, and then they went back to their hometowns and mixed it with the local styles, and then they got
yeah,
mixed with food.
yeah,
But the 1800s and the early 1900s, you understand?
yeah, yes,
So it started becoming a kung fu thing, but prior to that, it had no relationship.
yeah,
And so now you got guys that are kind of kung fu, but they don't realize that it's a sport. It's always been that in China. And even like I said, within China, let's say the belt cracking and the jibing gong, all the drills, the different tools and stuff. The Chinese do that because it's part of like their development within Suzhou.
yeah,
But the Mongolians don't really do those.
yeah,
No, they do the moving drills, but that's because most of the moving drills came from the Mongols. They
yeah,
developed,
yeah,
but you don't really see it. I've been here 6.5 years. I've trained with the best teams. I've never seen anyone do belt cracking
yeah, yeah,
ever. You know, I've seen the Chinese do it in other parts of China, and actually, I'm not saying that it's you know useless. It develops good movement patterns and understanding of the characteristics of the style, right?
yep.
You don't Do you need it? Well, it's proven you don't, because that the Mongols are the champions and they never do it.
Well, here's the thing. This is my own soapbox and my own bias, but I'm gonna put it in here for a second, shamelessly. But so I've been doing a lot of thinking about what skill is, right? And in my head, everyone has skill wrong. Everyone thinks that skill is like a movement pattern, that it's like muscle memory, or that it's like a motor program, right? But really, what I think skill is the ability to perceive an opportunity to do something to someone. So, like, you're wrestling and you see that you have a chance to execute a certain move, right? It's not that your muscle memory is better with that move. And the reason I think this is one of the thought experiments that really reinforce this for me is like in jujitsu, for example, if someone were to show me a move, a video of a move, right? They just show me the video once, and then you take one of my white belts and you have them drill the move for, let's say, 2 hours. They could just practice that one move 2 hours. They're practicing correctly. They're getting coached on all the details, like good drilling, right? We go to train, I'm still going to hit that move more and on more people than they are. Why? Because my perception is more attuned to the environment. I can actually see that. So the Jibengong, that stuff is great if you're uncoordinated and you need to develop the way to move. Like, you need to figure out the movement pattern. But if you're coordinated enough to do those movements and you have the movement pattern down, what you really need to learn is the gripping and how to set it up and how to find the opportunities in live training to perform that move. And the only way to do that is live training.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that with a dummy. You can't do it with a belt. That's not going to teach you how to perceive the opportunities. So, I think that stuff is cool, but it kind of goes back to an older way of thinking about skill that I don't think is super accurate.
We can look at it a couple ways, right? It's like it doesn't mean that it's not skill. It's a certain level, right?
Yeah.
Like there's different kinds of skill. Like love, that you have love for your wife, love for your child, love for your mother, for your friends. It's different feelings, right?
Yes.
You can look at it like, okay, have an artist, right? He can draw. Like I give him a picture, he can copy that exact picture. He can draw just like that. Wow, great.
Yes.
He's got some skills. He can fucking do. Okay, now I say, okay, make your own version of this picture. He can
Yeah.
do. Okay, wow, great. He's got even more skill. Okay,
Yeah. That's
now
another level.
level. Now let's say, okay, I'm gonna show him the same picture, but I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna take the picture away. I want you to create and let's say it's an animal. I want you to create a new animal that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You right? His ability to take the information that he has from his experiences in life, right, with his creative mind, and adapt and shift and shape and then make something beautiful that's never been seen before. That's a different level, right?
Yeah. Yep.
With wrestling, you got guys that they're so technical in terms of this is their technique looks exact to the protocol. What, like, you know what I mean? Like it's exactly perfect,
Yep.
perfectly. But actually, a lot of the Jibingong is just to give you the overall foundation of a movement, right? Like,
Yes.
okay, turn my head after this. But when you're actually doing that technique, depending on your body type,
Yes.
how heavy, you're gonna have to, and not to mention how the other person moves and reacts,
Well,
right?
that's the thing too, right? Is skill isn't just doing the same movement pattern all the time. It's about how you make little adaptations to that movement pattern depending on all those factors you're talking about.
Exactly. Well, that's why okay. I remember one day we were in Shilling Huts. I was training with Ubox, and I remember he was teaching a daga, right, like an inside trip,
Yep.
and everybody after he was teaching a specific way, and then he said, okay, everyone practice. And there's about 40, 50 dudes. I'm watching around the room, and I'm like, everyone's daga is different.
Yeah.
Not one person in the whole room was doing it the same. And he didn't go around saying they were wrong. It was
Yeah.
just he would correct certain things to kind of fit a little bit of the way he was trying to show it.
Yes.
But their finishing and how they had to turn a little bit or how they had to adjust, it was up to them for their specific bodies.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that the Mongolians won't say, as long as it kind of fits the necessary things are involved in it that make the technique work.
Yeah.
You still have room to be kind of yourself with it,
Yep.
right? Uh,
Absolutely.
and then since because they do this since generations, they can also look at your technique and the way that you do it, your specific way, and they can give you advice on how to make it even sharper or better.
Yeah.
Right? They can say, "Oh, this is the way it works, but how about this? Just turn this a little bit more."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying, "No, no, no, you have to only do it like this. Turn like
Yeah, it's
this."
totally different, right? Like it's like instead of trying to enforce like a top-down idea of this is the way it's done, they're looking at what you do and saying, okay, well, there's this one part here that's not really working for you all the time. Here's how we can make it work 10% more of the time. And
Exactly.
that's
And
another level of coaching. I mean, that's like,
that honestly, that's like my new coach now. Tumur Bucks, he's like legendary. That's how he coaches. Like he'll show some stuff during training, and then once we're training, he kind of goes around to different people and he's like, "Oh, well, you do this, or okay, you do that." So no one actually gets the same information. They get the same basic information,
yeah,
but goes on. He goes to each of his students because he wants them to be really good.
yes,
So I've never seen us all do the same exact thing. You
yeah.
know,
No, it makes sense.
yeah, man, it's very different, and I just think, oh, that's why Mongolians are so good. Like they have their own individual style. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's hard to find that. I'm not saying Westerners don't have that because you kind of if you're going to be a high level, you're going to have that.
yeah,
You can only get to high level with having that, right? But look how many guys are really that high level in the
yeah.
West.
No, it's very rare.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
So I
it gets beaten out of a lot of people. Like I feel like even with jujitsu, I fought this super hard. Like from most like really only when I trained with Wagner, he was the only person that was like that. Like I would do like weird unconventional stuff, and he would be like, "That's really cool. Like keep doing that," or like you're relying on this thing too much. Like stop doing that. Like there was a time where I was just Ezekiel everybody. Like I would just sleeveless Ezekiel everybody. Like any position. He's like, listen, if they're a brown or a black belt and they're whooping your ass, Ezekiel them. But other than that, like it's time to develop other things. But other than him, a lot of my coaches would just try to like pour this like rigid thinking down my throat. And it never like really got to me. Like I was always like, yeah, yeah, like I'll do what you say while you're looking. And then like when you turn around, like I'm kind of gonna like explore this other stuff on my own. And I just think that now the place where like jujitsu has gotten to, people are realizing like, oh wait, like it doesn't need to be like optimal. It just needs to work. So like
yeah.
if it works against your opponent, then it's good enough. So I think that the creativity and the individuality, this is a part of martial arts. I mean, it's why it's a martial art. And like there's of course principles and key points of different things, but that's what makes it an art, is that you have to be able to be effective and be good, but you still keep who you are and do things in a way that's there's a creative element there that I think really gets beaten out of people.
Also, well, if we started younger, we would have the time to be, you learn the foundation, you do the specific way,
Yes.
and you develop just like you're human, right? So
Yes.
when you're learn a certain way, and then you become a teenager, you get rebellious, you start trying different shit, and then you go to college, right? And you kind of experiment on some different level, and
Yeah.
then you go to the real world and you kind of structure, and that you kind of become who you are, and
Yeah.
then you just on that, right? And
Yeah.
so wrestling is the same. You have to follow those same lines. You
Yes.
can't straight out the gate jump and just try to be what you want to be. You have no foundation, right?
100%. Yeah.
So like little wrestling in life is not, there's no difference. It's the same
Yeah.
exact how you live and go throughout the process of it. It's the same as life,
Yeah, I
right?
don't know why this is like coming in my head, but it really reminds me of like a tree or like a bonsai tree. Like you need to give it the right things to grow and grow it, but then you also have to trim it sometimes. So it's like there's that process of like expansion where you're opening your eyes, you're looking at a wider field of things, but then also sometimes it's like, oh no, like I got too out there, too crazy with it. I got to bring this back in and look
Yeah.
at, like where are these important lines of development.
And allow your personality. I think that's one thing too. Is like allow your personality to shine as well. Like I think a lot of people try to change their wrestling and it doesn't match their personality.
Yeah.
And personality is what's gonna allow you when you express it through your wrestling to do well in wrestling.
Yeah.
Uh saying you can't do well without it, but down the line, win or lose, I'm not saying you'll be a champion, but with that, you're gonna be honest with yourself and you're gonna be able to express yourself more, right? And I think for Mongolians, uh, at least my experience in Inner Mongolia, they one big difference too is they compete so much.
Yeah.
Okay, this summer, most of my friends did about average 70 nod, 70. I
Yeah.
know some near like 100 right now. Just summer. So May, June, July, August, now September. Uh, Probably close to 100 not. So 100 competitions in the
Yeah.
4 months, right? Um, Now maybe more for some guys. And now think about those high level guys. Think about each day they're getting about minimum 5 matches, anywhere from
Yeah.
5 to 10, right, a day
So
for
that could be 500 matches potentially.
a summer.
Yeah, in one season.
In one season, you're doing 500. Some guys are doing 700 matches, and that's just the summer. We're not including the other rest of the year competitions and the training and stuff. Now, you do that every year since you're a kid. You do that for 20 years. Man, it's just hard to keep up with that.
Yeah.
By the time you're near 30, you're just a different level of feeling and understanding and confident in your expression of who you are,
Yeah.
right? Played so much. You've had so many opportunities to play in competition that now you're 28 or you're 32 and you're just like, it's a different and you got guys like Tanka, right? The famous Tanka, Dakhrbaya,
Yeah.
right? You watch him. I've watched him since he was a no one. I've watched him
Yeah.
since he was kilos. And now he's 130. And I've watched him since he was not winning one match. And now he's the top guy in Inner Mongolia. Right. And he did that within a few years, to be honest, maybe 4 years, 3, 4 years. But my point is, like, his one thing I really respect about him, he never, drifted away from who he is.
Yeah.
Didn't work. He kept trying to be, he kept just saying, I'm going to stick to who I am,
Yeah.
do that so much with so much experience. I'm going to figure out all the little missing pieces to it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. It's like being like you're like being true to like your personality, but also being flexible enough to make the changes where you need to make those changes to be good. Yeah.
Because, like a human, you're going to evolve anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So your style evolves, but the core of it, of who you are, is kind of always there,
Yeah.
right?
No, it makes
And
sense.
yeah, and that's why I respect. I mean, most of the guys here are like that. You know, that's why most of the guys here, most of them, I would say, in competition, they only do maybe two techniques. Now, I mean, if you're not as good as them or something, or they're just like in a weird position, they can
Yeah.
adapt. They can do stuff. But in general, they normally just choose to do like two different techniques.
Well, this is something also I think that people kind of miss more. I think when you're a little bit higher level in something, you're like good at something, you have an understanding of this, but like usually the finish, right? Like, you finish with like a daga, an inside trip, or you finish with, you know, whatever, right? That when you have that finish, that's gonna stay the same. But the ways that you get to that position, you have when you're really good, you have a lot of ways. Like you might have 100 ways to set it up, right? And it makes more sense to invest the time in learning different setups and
Yeah.
then translating that into one or two or three techniques because you don't have the time to have 100 setups for 100 techniques. That's 1,000 things, and you need to
Yeah.
you need to strategically invest your time in developing certain things to a high level and then learning how to get everyone into that position.
Yes. And don't get me wrong, there are some characters, some guys who can do 1,000 techniques on both sides, right?
Yeah.
There are certain, but those are specific kinds of people. That's not everyone. right?
That's their unique thing, right? Like that's part of who they are.
Guy named Chaganjan from Ujumchen and Bayabata, but he's older now. He's like the most legendary, and I would say Chaganjan is like the next. And one thing that everyone talks about why they love them is every year, and mind you, they're like 40 something now, and still Chaganjan is like the top dog.
Damn.
And my point of what him is like every year he has different stuff.
Yeah.
Year he's been having every year he's been changing since he was like 18.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's just like he just learns that he can do both techniques on both sides, and he's a big dude. He can like he's just so, and a lot of his techniques and his movements, how he wins, it's it's actually just him adapting to like the person,
Yeah.
right? Just do something and kind of like boom, just turn you or something. It's very interesting to watch him. So you're like, it's hard to kind of understand what he's gonna do to you because he can do so much. But that's
Yeah,
his
yeah. He has like
right.
this like changeling kind of like energy, which is
Yeah,
so
man.
different from like Tonka, who's like just gonna run you over.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, always have this. He's like one of the guys. Now there's another guy, but there's like two guys that are the ones that can consistently beat Tanka, and he's
Yeah.
one of
Uh,
him. Other guy that's my teacher student. He's like this new, the new kind of up and coming guy. I wouldn't
yeah.
even say he's a beast now. He's been winning everything. He just won. They just had a big Nadam in Asha. It's like the west of Inner Mongolia.
Mm-hmm.
Different style of book. It's like a book. It's like a. It's almost like Korean wrestling.
Okay.
Okay, and so they had
So it's
like
like belt, holding the
yeah,
belt.
wrestling. There's one of the belt, one is on the leg,
Got it.
right? But this one, your both of your hands is like wrapped on a like this string on the legs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So anyway, but he was out there. I was watching Tonka and all them, and but my teacher student, he just won the whole competition there, and so anyway, he's up and coming. But yeah, so you see these different individuals with different flavors, and sometimes I have to look at myself like, well, who am I?
Yeah. I was gonna say that when you were talking about it, I'm like, I think in the West, like a lot of people, and maybe it's the same in Mongolia for people who aren't as good, but like, I think a lot of people don't really know who they are. It's not always something you could put into words, but they don't know themselves that well, and that makes it really hard to know yourself as a grappler or martial artist. Like, you got to know
Well,
yourself.
we lie to ourselves every day, and who we are is actually who we pretend to be in
Yes,
front of everyone else.
we
Like we
put a
have
mask on, and we think we are the mask, and that's
think
yeah,
okay, go on any social media right now and see the comments and how people comment on videos like I would never do that or she's this or he's that or and I'm like
yes,
no, the same. You do the same thing. It's just that no one knows about you doing it, so
yes,
you're morally superior kind of person.
yep,
So yeah, we trick ourselves into who we really are. So if you're doing that every day, which let's be real, in the West we do it every day on social media, in our day-to-day life at work, we can never really kind of be free. And now you transfer that to wrestling and express who you are. But Mongolians never have to fake the funk because
yep,
their life require it.
yep,
They don't use social media like that, right? They every day they're herdsmen. They go and wrestle.
yeah,
Like don't have to do anything. They say what they feel. That's the one thing when Vinny came here, he said, you know what I really appreciate about the Mongolians? Whether they like you or they don't like you, they don't hide it. It's just like they don't hide it in their face or anything.
yeah.
They're very straightforward in how they feel about you. And take, like it or not, you're always going to get this kind of honest expression.
Yeah. I mean, that's a special thing to have at this, this day and age. You know what I mean? That makes it it's like, it's a very special environment.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's why I'm not trying to leave. No, I mean, like it's taken me this 6 years just to kind of really start to get into that, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that because uh when you've been living in a different lifestyle and different world for so long, man, it's not easy,
No,
right?
100%.
I'm not saying other people can't come here and become great wrestlers, but my I think my idea of a great wrestler is maybe different than other people. It's not just about winning.
Yeah.
Like how do you like when I'm done with this, when I mean like on the age of near retirement, I want people to watch my videos and say, man, he wrestled just like them dudes.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't tell the difference. Of course, my character, my personality, my who I am, you're gonna see that in my wrestling, but you wouldn't think if we watch Slideshow right now, we can tell the difference from Western and Chinese. You know what I mean?
100%. No, like you want to capture. Like I think about this a lot because I do so many different arts. It's like kind of part of my philosophy for training is like I call it like the spirit of the art. So like when I do judo, like I try to do judo. Like I'm not trying to do Chinese wrestling in judo. I'm not trying to do jujitsu in judo. I'm trying to do what judo people do. When I do sumo, I'm trying to do sumo. I might use techniques from other arts, but I try to learn the style and the way of performing that technique in that art. And
Yeah.
I also try to do the things that they like in that art. Like, like judo people, they like bow and arrow chokes on the ground, So like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do bow and arrow. I'm going to do, I'm allowed to grab the belt, but they don't really like when you grab the belt. So I'm going to try to do my techniques without grabbing the belt, like, so you try to like find what's the way that this art is supposed to look to the people who invented it and how do they do it and kind of try to capture some of that and understand it rather than like just trying to win without breaking the rules.
Yes, I think that's the issue. Is a lot of people are trying to win. The way I see it is like, okay, you learn judo, and then you put your personality or whatever the things you've learned into it, right? Like
Yes.
I like judo from like Mongolian judo, for instance, back 10, 20 years ago, right? Or more in the early, mid 2000s, like 2008 era. And if you watch the
Yeah.
Mongolian judo, if you watch the Mongolian judoka back then, they were book guys.
Yeah.
So when they wrestled judo or sambo, uh, they were using book, but they also trained judo.
Yes.
And so they kind of have this beautiful blend of it. And you see it with the Central Asians too, the way they do judo. Yes, they can do judo beautifully, but they can also add elements of their culture, because it's part of their personality into it.
100%.
But
No, yeah.
you don't just go just into judo, only doing belt wrestling, just trying to do belt wrestling on a judoka. You know, like it's like you still have to learn, just like you do Swaijiao, you've been doing some sumo stuff now too. If you come to Inner Mongolia and do book, you can't just do those arts in book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got to learn book, and then over time, once you actually have an understanding to some degree, you can start to add those elements of like the sumo and stuff. Because I actually see a lot of similarities with
Yes.
sumo Mongolian wrestling.
Totally. Yeah, no, there's a lot of crossover there.
A lot of that's the reason. I mean, look at why most of the top guys in sumo are the Mongolians from Mongolia.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities. It actually made me more interested to actually get into some sumo stuff,
Yeah. It's
or at least.
sumo's fascinating. It's not what people think it is, like I've been training it a little bit. And if I had to say, like, just from my perspective, if I had to pick one thing that it was the closest to, I would actually say like competition push hands, like the Tai
Mm,
Chi competition, which is funny because the Mongolians win that. They always win that too. But I think that that's the most similar because in sumo, like if you lose your balance once, it's usually over for you. Like you could recover, but you probably won't. So I think it's very close to that. And then probably the next thing I would say would be doing the Mongolian wrestling,
yeah. Well,
because the
well, for
first
me,
touch thing.
for me, I would say Mongolian, and I'm talking about Outer Mongolia or Mongolia, the
Yes,
country.
with the leg
Uh,
grabs.
yes. So, because Inner Mongolia is in Mongolian is Over Mongol, and then Mongolia, the country is called Outer Mongol, means northern and southern Mongolia. Okay,
Yeah.
they refer to it, and so an Outer Mongol, their book Half is. I would say that particular style is the best foundation for any wrestling, especially jacket or belt styles.
Yeah.
Because to just that, go to any competition and just fuck shit up. All they got, especially if they start to learn a little bit of that other style, they just
Yes.
cause trouble, right?
Problems.
Problems. But for Inner Mongolia, I would say it's the best for some like sensitivity and just leg attacks.
Yeah.
They're like, even when you go to Mongolia, like the wrestlers are like, yeah, the Inner Mongolian leg attacks are just different level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. Like your foot
different.
sweep type
Yeah, because
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
I was based on, right? Counters and sweeps and stuff. So yeah, man, that's why I'm even now I'm getting more interested in really going into Mongolian wrestling from Mongolia.
Yeah.
You know, man.
Can you tell us like a little bit about the differences in like how training is between, because you train Inner Mongolia, and then I know you told me like when you got to Outer Mongolia, like these guys go hard. Like they're not like it's not soft, it's not nice. Like people are bodies are
Well,
flying.
let me say it like this. I learned also that is dependent on the coach
Yeah.
and how they want to shape their wrestlers. Um, because when I got to Mongolia, I was training with my teacher from Inner Mongolia and his team, right?
Yeah.
And cross trained with Mongolian teams. And my new teacher, even for Inner Mongolian wrestling, his was very difficult, very intense training.
Yeah.
I mean, just like running up and down. No, no, no. I mean, you were sparring all the time, and it was so rough.
Yeah.
He encouraged it, like headbutting and like he's like, yeah, you better push this way. You know what I mean? Like he's telling you all the secrets on how to make people uncomfortable, which
Yeah.
which is just like it's pain, bro. Right?
Yeah, but
But
it's in a way it's good because then like this is kind of how it was with Wagner, like because he's known to be so mean. Like he was so mean to me that like now like when other people are mean to me, I'm like I'm like okay, like I'm like this is my world. Like you want to step into this world where we're being mean to each other. Like like let's do this. Like I love this.
what my teacher, I would say out of the top 10 wrestlers, I mean, there's so many good wrestlers in Mongolia, but I would say let's just say the best 10. I would say 7 of them are his students.
Yeah.
Almost 7, about 6 or 7 are his students. That's he knows how to teach, right?
Yeah.
So I had to listen to him. I was like, oh, these are the actual secrets, like the details that the other guys don't do and know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like these little positions that he's in and how he makes you uncomfortable that he shows us. And then now that I see the Nadams this summer, I see his students doing all that. And I'm like, oh, now I see it.
Yeah.
That's why my homeboy, like, he's only 97 kilos. He's one of the students. He's been winning everything this summer. Like a lot of the big competitions, he's been winning. And people are kind of trying to figure out how is this young dude, he's like 22, 23, beating all these legends and he's way smaller.
Yeah.
But he's applying these methods that my teacher's been showing us with his like unique personality because he's got a very unique way of wrestling. Um, and so, but for the Mongolians in Mongolia, I would say the big thing is one, they're gigantic. They're just way bigger, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I was when you go to training, you're like these guys' legs are like the size of my entire body. You
Yeah.
know, like Jesus, his leg weighs 100 kilos, and one, they really prioritize strength training as well.
Interesting.
Like they do a lot of strength, and they don't lift light. You
Yeah.
know, their small guys are squatting 450. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Five, like the small ones. You know, and
Yeah.
so they prioritize like really heavy lifting. Um, Very unique methods of lifting too. They like to pick up like the sandbags and stuff.
The
Uh,
ones with like the straps. Is
Straps.
that's what that is? Okay, it's a sandbag with straps around it.
Straps because their style, they're lifting you by your shirt, like your pants, which is it feels just like a rope. It's very painful,
Ah,
right? And so they're everything they do. That's why they're also good at the belt wrestling stuff.
yeah. Now
Mind you,
with the
these.
oh, go
Mhm.
ahead, go ahead. No, I was gonna
I
ask
was,
you a question, but keep going.
I was gonna say with these straps and they're lifting these sandbags. Some of them things like 250 kilos. Like, trust me, I tried to pick it up and I was like, my back was broken. I was like, oh hell no. And I see boom, like this, boom. I was like, oh, right? Different,
That's wild. So
different.
with the Outer Mongolian like schedule year round, right? Like they have one big Naadam, right?
Yes,
It's like you got one shot. sort of.
Well, national Nadam. So this is like
Yeah,
they're like when you get the national rank.
yeah,
Have other competitions that are quite big too. They just don't have the frequency as Inner Mongolia. Like they do Nadams like the way it kind of works there is like their Nadam time is uh normally late June and July.
yeah,
And they have like different Sum Nadam, but as a wrestler, you don't really go to all those. You kind of focus on the one big one and then a couple others.
yeah, yeah. Like
And
you
then
have some like ones you do to like kind of get like experience and get ready for it, but you're really planning for that big one.
yeah, the big one because the thing is you don't want to get injured before and all this stuff. And then you have the Lunar New Year like big competition.
Gotcha.
They do have like once or twice a month. Well, actually, a few times a month. I think 3 or 4 times a month they have competitions, but it's for different levels. So, like if you're on the Sum level, like a village level or something, if you're on the province level or like the state level, the national level,
Yeah,
you can compete in those different ones. But they're not. Uh, it's again, you might compete once a month,
yeah.
twice. You know.
So then,
Uh,
like, will they just lift heavy year round, like kind of do like an undulating periodization, or is it just like
so the
how
way
do they work that in with the training?
So the way, well, in every wrestler there, it's kind of not as strict. Like every wrestler kind of develops their own thing, right? Like their own way of doing stuff. Like you don't really see them do like the team lifting. It's like you have your homeboys, you go through your own
Yeah,
thing. Top guys, most of them lifting about 4 times a week,
yeah.
and they're wrestling like 3 times a week.
Okay.
Oh, some of them do less than that, or some of them do 4 times a week wrestling. But I noticed that it normally it was dependent on the level too. Like the smaller guys, the younger guys wrestled a lot more.
Yeah,
Kind of really developed guys wrestled less throughout the year, and they really got into the wrestling hardcore around June. For
yeah.
like they would just wrestle like a lot,
Yeah,
you know.
that's something I'm kind of finding now. Like when I was younger, I would train like 3 times a day, every day for like months on end. And like now I'm like, I could train once or twice a day. And like, I just like am using my brain more. Like it's more mental. And I'm like, I'm getting more out of less training. I'm like, man,
Yeah,
like, why was I just like killing myself for no reason? Like,
that's the thing is like so the way that doing it again for preparing for the big national album, they're gonna train a lot, like
yeah,
twice for like a month though. Besides that, most people are only training once a day. Like you train like for instance, it's one day wrestling, one day lifting, one day wrestling, one day lifting. You just do that, and then you get like Sunday rest,
yeah,
right? And you just kind of repeat that because they're lifting very heavy and they're wrestling for quite a long time. Like I would wrestle with my specific team. We would wrestle maybe three 3 hours, 4 hours.
yeah, yeah,
Was like it was intense. You couldn't do much more. But I've also been with
yeah,
teams that did uh there were numerous teams. So some of them did morning wrestling, afternoon lifting.
yeah.
Six, and
Six
then I've
times a week.
teams that do like twice a day wrestling. You do like 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon, and then the next day you do like one wrestling, one conditioning or lifting, and then you repeat that. And I would be hurting so bad.
Yeah,
That's for like 18, 19 year olds.
yeah. No, it's hard
But
to survive that training.
and not it makes you tough, but for me it's like I noticed that's when my injuries would be bad.
Yeah,
You could barely function, like my wrestling would actually just fall down because I'm just hurting.
yeah. You're just trying to protect your joints and stuff. It becomes it's like a different game. You're just trying to survive training. You're not actually necessarily like
Yes.
improving in the same way.
And you would see because they're kind of new in Inner Mongolia, they're newer to like the strength training like programs, so they don't quite know how to implement them.
Yeah,
Like you notice like because we train in the winter. You're training 6 days a week for about 3 months, and then 1 month rest, and then another 2 months, right? So
yeah,
you do. like pretty full time, bro. And you notice by 2-3 months, everyone's like injured. Like everyone, like they're all broken up, And I'm
Yeah.
like, not. So I'm my teacher now. He's one of the best. Like I said, we do it once a day: wrestling, lifting, wrestling, lifting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to work really well. But again, in Mongolia, they're big. They strength train a lot, and I wouldn't say they wrestle so hard. Like they go hard, but a lot of the times, again, the younger generation and the OG guys that are like the top guys, they train completely different. I
Yeah.
noticed guys, what they do is they chill a lot. They rest a lot during training. Like they kind of just sit and observe. And then they'll warm up a little bit and then they'll get with small dudes for a while and just kind of work technical,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then they get with big dudes to work on like something that they have to work, like they're gonna do a new turn or a lift or something. They're gonna get with a big guy and do it on them over and over, like most of the training.
Yeah.
Like two dudes, they just stick with those two. They only train with them, and they work on and they do some sparring, but it's kind of still working on a specific thing. You know what I mean? And then, but they do it for a minute, and then for a few minutes, and then they sit down 5 minutes, chill. Then they do it again, and they sit down. They talk about like the problems, the issues with the different coaches, and then they do it again. And it's kind of like that for in Mongolia.
It's like more of like a problem solving session than like the way we
Yeah.
spar here, where it's just like you're trying. It's almost like a lot of Western street training, like it's a tournament, you know?
Yes. Well, I've been to another training that was a bit different though. They had like it was more structured. It was very much like any other. Like you warm up, you do techniques, and then you spar.
Yeah.
Uh, that's how a lot of them are too. Like I said, it depends on the coach. I just figured that the sparring, like it's up to you that day to kind of play. Like it's all about your development. Because at the end of the day, bro, Mongolian wrestling don't have like teams on the field in the same way we have teams in the West, like different weight divisions. At the end of the day, only one can be a champion.
Yeah. No, it's individual.
So my team, I done told you, we got numerous of the top guys in all the country on one team. They're your best friends and your rivals.
Yeah.
So some guys, especially because they're from different regions, so they kind of click together. Some guys, a lot of them won't never do their best techniques in training. Never
Yeah.
seen. They just keep it to themselves and they just work on new stuff. And then the summer, you're like, wait a minute, I never seen you do that before. That's because they were hiding that the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, you gotta have, you gotta keep some of that stuff in reserve so that people don't see it.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm learning because I said our ego in the West is different. Like I'm trying to kill.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna get him. Oh, he got me, I'm gonna get him. But guess what? They are so smart. They want you to feel that.
Yep.
Want you to do your best stuff. And I remember one guy, he kept letting me, and he's a top wrestler. His name's Martial. And I was like, why he ain't doing anything? He just doing enough to make me do it to him, right?
Yeah.
And then we went to eat, and he was like, yeah, like I just wanted to learn all the ways you do your best technique. And I
You're
was
like,
like,
damn, I got.
but this motherfucker, but he was telling me like you can't just do your best stuff. Like, you got to be smarter with it, and you got to learn how to like adapt and stuff like that. And he was giving me some good pointers and stuff, but it made me realize like, oh, even their training is like a game. It's like
Yes.
a mental game. Now, again, not everyone's like that. You find like genuine dudes who are your buddies that just want to push you, but you also have to understand who are the different individuals.
Yeah, totally.
Because some of them guys, like they looking at me as a foreigner, and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna let him beat me and deny them
Yeah.
because he's a foreigner. I'm not gonna be embarrassed. You
Yeah.
know. Sometimes they do that in training. They're like, oh,
Yes.
like you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. No, it's interesting, like the different like dynamics and energies in the training room. Cause like in the West, like there's just always this like people are always trying to one up you, it's always a battle. Like, I was at judo last night and like everybody was trying to kill me. I'm like, man, like both my floating ribs are popped. I was in like a scorpion crunch in a competition 2 weeks ago, and like I didn't tap because I'm not tapping to that, and it popped my ribs. I beat the guy after, but
What's
then
wrong, bro?
but then like now like I'm just messed up, and I'm like I gotta go to judo because I'm not gonna skip training. But then I get there and like everybody's trying to murder me. I'm like, guys, like please. I'm like, what, like today you're gonna try to kill me? It's like fine, I'm gonna kill you. But then that's the Western dynamic, So like you
Yeah.
get sucked into that, and like even like with my students, it's like they never go light with me. They always want to beat me because then it's like, oh, I scored a point on Jamie, and it's like then it becomes in my head. I'm like, no, I cannot let you score a point. Like you will never score a point on me. I'm gonna maul you every time we roll.
But that's what honestly, that's why I can't really. It's very hard for me to train in the West now
Yeah.
because everyone has that mentality, and now cameras everywhere, so they'll be like, "Yo, I got
Yes.
Hangai."
Oh, I
Like it's
threw a Hangai. It's like really like he's here. He just took a 48-hour flight. Had some terrible food. Had Wendy's. Like
they, nah, but they do they do that, bro. And it's like one thing that I really like in within Mongolia and Inner Mongolia, they never post what some people do, but it's like if you're really close friends or something or young guys, they don't ever really post them throwing someone.
yeah.
Watch those videos. It's actually it's like a videographer that's posting like Mongolian wrestling. But
Yes.
the wrestlers, if you actually watch the training videos, they posting this right as the throw happens, it cuts off. They
Huh.
never post.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. It's like a respect thing.
yeah, because it's like, yo, it's training. We even for Nadam, they don't like want to brag
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
post. And I at first I was like, damn, man, I want to see the technique. Like, what was he doing? But that's why in China I never post my videos where I throw or win beat someone. Never, I never did it
Yeah.
because here I think I did it once when I first moved here. It's just not a thing that you do,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And every day in training, like you win, you lose. There's some days everyone beats me. The worst guys beat me. There's some days where even I beat the best guys in training.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that it's a better attitude to have where it's not looked at as permanent. Like it's like you did that, you won or you lost. It doesn't change who you are, and that's part of the problem. I think in the West is we ride high on winning and low on losing, and then like your wind horse, your spirit is going up and down all the time. It's not healthy. You want it to be stable.
Well, one thing that helps that um is the amount of competing that we do.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I still go through these weird doubts and depressions every summer. I actually have to prepare my mind about 2 to 3 weeks out of the summer. I have to prepare because I know I'm gonna go through some very low lows.
yeah, totally.
I'm like, I'm gonna feel like shit soon. I need to be ready for this because, like I said, you do 80, you do 70 or 80 nadams in one summer, but you only win two. That means you lost 68 times.
Yeah.
At some point, you might have done well, but you still lost to someone that day,
Yep.
right? So the point is, it's like you're. I mean, of course, when you're a higher level guy, you win more, but you're still gonna lose at least 30 to 40 times.
You're gonna lose a lot.
A lot, and you gotta be, and that really makes or breaks and shows who you really are as a person.
Yeah.
I have to check myself because I'm like, damn, like this summer, bro, I didn't win any Nadam. I took second, I took third and fourth, but a lot of Nadam, man, I just got to like top 16, top 32.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I mean, damn, like I suck. Fuck. But it's not that, it's just part of the game.
It's a process. Yeah, totally.
The process, and uh I asked Asa, I said, Asa, you ever get nervous? Like, what do you feel? And Asa said, I never felt that before. I was like,
Yeah.
what? And she said, nah. He's like, man, I'm just having fun. He said,
Yeah.
the way I look at it is like this. I'm an up and coming wrestler. These guys should beat me. So because they should beat me, like these high level guys, I'm gonna just do whatever I can to win. And if I lose, well, they should have beaten me anyway. And if I
Yeah.
won, really like I was not holding back because they should beat me and I should just try whatever I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And because of that, he said, Hangai, he was like, bro, last year I didn't win any Nadam. This year I won seven.
Yeah.
It was like and he won 228. So he's probably getting his Jangad this summer, if not next.
Wow.
And so, but that's the point. It's like his mentality really made me think like, oh, I need to just play
Yeah.
and just be who I am, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And
No,
because
totally.
I was trying to fit this like, oh, I gotta be this, I gotta be tough, and uh, there's always someone tougher, someone stronger, someone bigger. You
Yep.
know, it's like, but the times I did the best, I didn't think at all.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like just being present and not like just enjoying that moment like you enjoy any other day, enjoy training, enjoy, that it's challenging, especially like as you go through different phases in your career. Like I remember being like a blue belt and I was fighting black belts and I would beat them all, and it was like it feels so different than now being a black belt fighting black belts. Now it's like, oh, like I'm a black belt too. Like I can't lose. I remember feeling the way like he talked about, like I'm like, these guys should beat me, but I'm gonna beat them. Like I'm gonna do my thing. It doesn't matter. But like now it's like there's this pressure from everyone expects me to win. So then like I have that expectation that makes it harder actually to just be present.
That pressure is there, man, and if I can go back and what I would want to do now, I think if we can look at our students in the West, uh, I think we have to normalize losing,
Yeah.
like dealing with loss.
Yes.
We have to teach people how to deal with losses and how to learn from them. They always say you either win or you learn. Yeah, that's not true.
That's
Sometimes
a
you just
weak that's a weak version. The best lesson, one of the best lessons I ever got from Wagner was about this. He wasn't actually even saying it to me, he was saying it to a kid, and the kid was upset because he lost, and he said, like, it's important that when you lose that you feel something. You're gonna feel something when you lose, and that means that's the right thing, is to have emotion there, because that's what's gonna motivate you to come back and do things differently and do better. So this is part of the process, and it's good that you feel something. And that just really stuck with me. I was like, this is like that's like
you have, bro. You have to look at like, okay, what I notice when a lot of guys come here and they lose, they always do this thing where they're like, man, I almost had them,
yes,
or I
lying to
did this.
yourself.
Oh, lying ass motherfucker. You ain't had nobody.
Yeah.
You you're
Yeah.
so away from it that you don't even realize, oh man, you're gone, bro. You got a long time before you get there.
Or they'll say that guy I lost to was a beast. Like the guy I lost to at Worlds, he wasn't good. Like he
They
wasn't good.
they always do that.
He
The
wasn't
guy,
good.
no, because your ego. You think you're here, so you had to say he's a beast. Because if you say the guy that beat me wasn't a beast, that tells you that you're not a beast, not the beast you
Yes.
thought you, right?
Yes.
And so we gotta be honest, and we gotta teach our students it's okay to be honest, because one day you will be a beast if you compete, if you keep being honest with yourself, right?
Yes.
And how do you deal with the losses? How do you learn from them? Like how do you allow those feelings to help you? We gotta help them understand how to guide those feelings into the right direction. Because
Yes. Not
yeah,
to guide them into ego, not to guide them into giving up, but to actually use that as motivation.
motivation, right? And then it's like uh how to be soft. We have to teach people how to be soft in training. When I mean soft, like I know that's kind of a kung fu term and it's kind of hard to people understand. It's being relaxed, being sensitive, and learning how to feel more,
Yeah.
right? How do
Yeah.
you how you know what I'm saying? How do
It's
you
like
feel?
it's like what Tai Chi people talk about, but they don't most of them don't really do it because they don't really wrestle or grapple or train with another body enough to really do that. Like
Yes.
they have too many ideas about what it means to be soft, but like it's kind of like what they're talking about. Like, they push, you pull, your circular movement, these types of things.
So how do we become soft? And it's like what I've kind of realized, one, it's mentality. Like you have to mentally be like remind yourself if it's not already part of who you are, right? Because we didn't grow up the same way as Mongolians. But a lot of it is like Mongolians have a very specific way of living that if we apply it, I think it'll help us.
Yeah.
Such right? I really think that's going to be one of the best ways.
Say it again. You cut out for a second.
Riding horses.
Yeah. I actually went horseback riding for the purpose of like investigating this, and I was like, oh man, there's a lot to this that's relevant, like connecting with the horse,
Yeah.
like being like feeling yourself in the horse as like one unit. This is like a
Yes.
huge part of this, like the leg strength. Like how are you gonna do horse riding stance and you never ridden a horse? Like you gotta like
Bro, it's a different thing, man. Like the way your legs would just feel so you're like, I'm a bitch, right? Like I'm just weak, man. It's like it is a different and I didn't realize until I was last in the spring. And I was like, oh Lord, my body was broke up, bro. But like the riding the horses, wrestling the horses. I know that's a little difficult in the West, but this is why my teacher said if you want to get good at Mongolian wrestling, you got to come here,
you got a
right?
ranch. Yeah.
To some degree, you have to come and like play with the lifestyle. Like when I say play, I mean like you have to kind of like get involved with it somehow, a
Yeah.
little, because you got to feel what it's like. My homeboy said to me last month. He said, "Hangai, this spring, come to my home every day. We'll just wrestle the horses." He said because if you wrestle the horses like we do, when you grab them and you grab them by the hair and you take them down by their damn ears and their hair, your grip and the way you can hold and feel is gonna be so different. Because I kept complaining that my grip was giving out during the Nagam.
Yeah.
Like we're holding on. Like my match was like 25 minutes, and I was like, oh my god, my hands, I could not even hold on, no matter what I wanted to do. And I've gone longer, but my arms hurt for like days.
Yeah.
I was going against a guy who was probably about 285, and he was just like boom, boom, like shifting like that. And so you're trying to kind of hold on to him, right?
Yeah. No, that'll mess your grips up.
Yeah, and I was like, but I knew if I let go, I'm going for a ride. So I do have good grip strength, but endurance, like that stamina in them to be able to hold on for a long time, it's a different thing. But they get it because they're always with their horses and their sheep. They
Yeah, it's
just
just a
grab.
part of the lifestyle.
Yeah, so I was like, these kind of things, man. If we could really, I would even say, bro, I would have tested this out. But the mechanical bull,
Yeah. No, that's not
I,
a bad idea. What do you
yeah, I
think
would.
about archery? Like the archery that they do? Do you feel like that is relevant too? Not as much.
Nah, not at all. Like, I mean, I think archery and the wrestling have a lot in common. Now, if we're talking about on the philosophical level, but in terms of if you're talking about horse archery, that I do think.
Ah,
But archery on its own, it's like, no, right?
no. Okay.
I was shooting just the archery, and I was like, okay, this is cool. But once I did on the horse, I said, oh, this is not the same thing.
Huh.
This different thing. Like it makes you almost never want to do regular archery again. No, really. Like I almost have no interest just to go and shoot. I'm like, I need to get on a horse and shoot
Yeah.
because you have to feel and be able to do many things at one time and see and feel the horse, feel your body, be in harmony with it.
Yeah, that's much closer to wrestling.
Yes, while being relaxed at the same time, it's literally wrestling.
Very cool.
You
So I
know,
got we're probably over an hour right now, but I got one more question I want to ask you before I got to wrap up. We'll probably have to get back and do another one of these. I knew this was going to happen, but um
yeah, yeah.
look, you found a shirt for this one, so this is a big deal. All right. I didn't even know you had shirts, okay? I was like, this man's out in Mongolia, he doesn't have any shirts. So like, a lot of athletes do a lot of things, and we tend to we tend to think it's everything that we do or did, like th- there's a funny example of this, of like, you trained with you drilled for 2 hours, you sparred for 2 hours, you went home, you rubbed olive oil on your head, and then you think you're good because you rubbed olive oil on your head. Like, like it might be the drilling and the sparring. Like the olive oil probably wasn't what made the difference. Um, but like looking back at the time where you were here in the United States, like because you used to do a lot of training, like you used to train a lot, like crazy, like 8 hours, like a lot of training. So I'm wondering, like, out of all that stuff you did, like now when you look back at it, like, what do you think got you to the level that you were? What out of that stuff was really worth it? What made the difference, you think? Because you did get to a level of skill that was very high for somebody in the West with what we
Yeah.
have in the West.
Yeah. Um, I don't know, to be honest, how much of that was physical,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like, because
Yeah.
since a kid, I always told myself I'm going to be one of the baddest, whatever, when it comes to martial arts.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I truly believe that. To this day, I don't. There's a reason why I'm 37. I'm still here trying to even become a champion in this style that no one
Yeah.
forced. I really believe this, right? So I think part of it is like mentality, but I would say I have a unique ability to, like, um I can watch something and kind of with martial arts, especially this, and understand it quite
Hmm.
quickly. Like I can watch him, be like, oh, he's doing that, and analyze and observe these things.
Understand what's actually happening rather than like getting lost
Like,
in the minutia.
exactly. But for all that training I did, I mean, it's at its time, bro. I think I don't. I'm not really sure what. Sometimes I feel like a lot of it was performative.
Yeah, a hundred
Like,
percent.
was because I did kung fu for so long, my tendons, my ligaments were so strong that I could do things.
Yes.
So I could, and I danced too. So I could just show off like these skills I had. A lot of them I never worked on. I never like tried to get them. I could do it automatically.
Yes.
Flips and shit. I never practiced all those at first, like handstands. I just could do them.
Yeah. 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 Totally.
But now looking back, a lot of the reasons now that I have certain things that hold me back, it's from that as well.
Yeah.
Like my stiffness. Like I was thinking about this 2 days ago. I was at a cafe thinking, man, what makes me so stiff compared to the Mongolians?
Yeah.
And I realized I used to always do Honga. You right? So you're
Yeah.
doing Gong, you're doing like this hard Qigong and this Honga, which is very like a hard style. And you develop a very strong body, but it's very rigid. Everything is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 hundred
So,
percent.
wrestling is the opposite. Wrestling is
Relaxed and soft and
off and knowing when to put that explosion. You know what I
yes.
mean?
Yeah. hundred
Uh,
percent.
so it's like it's you're dancing, right? So that anyway, these are things that I had to kind of think about. But uh, I thought about if I have a kid. So let's take it away from me. When I have kids, I'm gonna have an army of children. I'm just wait. Trust me, chicken on his back. So
Yeah.
when I
Hopefully they don't all become girls, right? You're gonna end up with the army of girls.
guess what? Gonna be like Putlun, they're gonna be the baddest girls you ever seen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the things that I used to do, but just the parts that I feel were necessary, like the amount. I
Yes.
think some of it was necessary, but I think I did too much of it.
Yeah.
Hand balancing for 3 hours a day. Now my wrists hurt every day.
Yes.
So my wrists are broke
Yes.
up. You
Yeah.
know. So that's what I would say. I would say a lot of it was good, but it was just too much, and I didn't have the guidance.
Yeah.
Come from a certain time when it was like we were trying to be real life what we heard of.
Yep.
See, we never saw that. We didn't live 500 years ago. You know what I mean? We heard of these stories of these guys going into the mountains and ripping trees in half. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
no,
so,
I mean, I was gonna say back at the beginning that like I feel like one thing about kung fu that is so good and so powerful, and I think it got to a lot of us that way, because I definitely got to me that way, is like these stories, man. Like these stories and the legends, and that is so inspiring, and like it just lights a fire in you. Like if it gets you at the right time in your life, and it hits you, like you're gonna
Yeah.
be a martial artist, man. Like
Bro, I still every time I still hear the old version of the Wong Fei Hong like theme song. Oh hey, every time I still hear it, I feel pop, pop, you know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm about to break somebody up. It's feeling that you can be the hero that saved the country. You know,
yeah,
the hero that protected the village. You know what I mean?
yep.
Uh,
To
and
become
but
that legend is like, that's like such as it's so like, it's got this luster to it. It's like the draws you in.
exactly, it does, and I think that's a good thing, and I want that next generation to have it. But and this is what me and you are pretty much talking about this whole time. It's up to people like us to say, okay, let's still instill that like that mind in those stories and that beautiful daydream. You know what I mean? That can
Yeah.
one reality. Let's still give that to the next generation, but with a proper training method.
Yeah, let's give him the way to do it. Exactly.
Hey, I'm not. Don't just go in the backyard and punch a tree for 2 hours. I used to boom, boom. You know what I mean? You know the certain jowl I had to use. You know what I
Dude, I
mean?
used to I used to kick. I had a stone wall in my driveway, and I used to just side kick it, bro. My hips used to get so messed up from that. But yeah, exactly like you said, like to still have that dream be there for people, but to give them the tools to actually get there without doing all this extra stuff, doing these things you don't need to do, and to understand how to really actualize it.
Yes, and I think right now, I gotta wrap it up. Right now, it's like even for me, I'm still learning. So a lot of these things you're asking me, maybe if we talk, because now I have a new teacher and I'm experiencing more. And this year
Yeah,
I'll be and I'll go to Mongolia and train with them. Uh, so probably if we talk next year, it'll be different. I'll have a
yeah,
different view on this, right?
yeah,
So I want anyone to hold us to this one conversation because we're all evolving and learning more, right? And that's our jobs. I think that's our jobs right now, not only to be great champions, but to be have a high level understanding on how to teach the next generation, especially in the West.
I think that also goes back to what you're saying about being honest, right? Like it's like you don't know everything right now. I don't know everything right now. We have some ideas about what the right way to do things is, but to me, that's a sign. It sounds weird, but like that's a sign of an expert. When I hear people who are so sure, they're like, "No, this is the weight training move that you do to get better at this." I'm like, you sound too certain. Like you sound like you're selling me something.
Bullshitting me. You're,
Yes.
you're too sure that everyone should do this thing, and that's the problem. I don't want to get I don't want to get sensitive about this, but sometimes I think about my past and I think about the teachers in the West, right? Especially for Swaijao, and how they were too certain about everything that they do and can do and how they teach, and how they were too certain that they could make me so great, but only under them, under this particular way of doing it. When you
Yeah.
go realize they were very far away from that level, meaning I'm not saying they're not great, right? Like my teacher Omar was great, but he was great for what he did,
Yeah.
what he does. Here, the Swaijao is just developed to a different level, especially for the sport,
Yeah.
right? Like, I wish these guys would have just been like, hey, we can't show you, we don't know some of this. You got to go to China for a while. You got to go to Inner Mongolia for a while, right?
Yeah, just been honest, right? That's
Yeah. And that's the thing that bothers me because I'm like, man, if I just knew this when I was 20, I would be the champion.
yeah, you'd have been 10 years ahead of where you are now.
Ahead, and more, so it's just like, I'm like, okay, I can't dwell on that, but I'm never going to do that to my students.
Yes. And that's
You know?
that's exactly what I was saying. Is like that's why we need to get this out there basically. Is like, hey, this is the real way to get it done.
Yes.
Very cool,
So,
man. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I know you got a busy schedule and a lot of stuff to do, so I very much appreciate it.
massages, bro. I'm broke up.
You gotta go buy some shirts.
Oh, I need to go buy more shirts. So I appreciate you reminding me. I'm glad we did this, and we'll do some more in the future. But
yeah, definitely.
doing what you're doing, man, I'm proud of you too. I just want to say that. Like I've seen you for years now. How long have I known you? 8, 9 years?
I think it was like a year before you went to China, so like maybe 8 years.
Something. Because I've been here over 6.5. But point is, I've seen your evolution, man, and now doing all the stuff. Like you're doing great. Just continue this path. You're so young still, right?
Yeah,
And I feel like you don't know how much you're gonna have an impact. Maybe you do, but you're gonna have a bigger impact than you think, right? So we keep doing this stuff. We keep working together, man. And till the next time, brother.
absolutely, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, brother.
Thank you.